Level 1. The Volunteer. You are 18, and this is your first real uniform, a polo shirt, 2 sizes too big, the hospital logo embroidered over your heart. You believe you are here to help people. Your job is to be an absence of inconvenience. You push wheelchairs down hallways that all smell of the same lemon-scented disinfectant. You deliver flowers to rooms where the occupant is too sedated to see them. You learn the hospital's geography by its smells, the burnt popcorn scent of the radiology wing, the thick metallic odor near the OR, the food court grease that never quite reaches the patient floors. One afternoon, your task is to sit with an elderly patient whose family is 3 hours away. You read to her from a worn paperback. She doesn't speak, but she grips your hand. Her skin is like paper, her grip surprisingly strong. For 90 minutes, you feel essential. You feel like you're making a difference. This is the feeling you will chase for the next 50 years. The feeling you will trade everything to get back, long after you've forgotten why you wanted it. Level 2. The Phlebotomist. You're 21. Your world has shrunk to the 1-inch space of the antecubital fossa. You are no longer a person. You are a procedure. You draw blood 60 times a day. You learn the geography of veins, the deep, ropey ones on construction workers, the fragile, rolling ones on the elderly. The smell of an alcohol swab becomes the scent of your own competence. You get good. You can hit a vein in a moving ambulance. You can draw from a newborn's heel. But you are a ghost. You enter a room, perform your task with a polite murmur, and leave. You are the brief, sharp sting nobody wants, but everyone needs. You see patients at their most vulnerable, but you never learn their stories. You only learn their blood type and their white cell count. Level 3. The ER Technician. You're 23 and the lab's calm has given way to the perpetual chaos of the emergency room. You are the hands of the nurses and doctors. You run EKGs, splint broken bones, clean wounds that smell of stale beer and dirt. You learn that trauma has a sound, a specific high-pitched wail from a child, the wet gurgle of a chest injury, the sudden deafening silence when a heart monitor flatlines. You hold down a teenager thrashing from a drug overdose. You cut the clothes off a car crash victim, your shears sticking to the blood-soaked fabric. You become numb. You have to. You eat your lunch in 15 minutes, standing up. You perfect the art of dissociating from the body in front of you, treating it as a collection of tasks. The numbness is a shield. It keeps you functional. It also begins to build a wall. Level 4. The Registered Nurse. Med-Surg. You're 26. You have a degree, a license, and a patient load of 6. 6 bodies, 6 charts, 6 families, 6 different symphonies of beeping machines. Your day is a 12-hour marathon of medication passes, wound dressings, and unanswered call lights. You develop what they call the nurse's bladder, an ability to ignore your own body's needs for 8 hours straight. You learn to chart defensively, because every word you write is a potential exhibit in a lawsuit. A doctor, who sees your patient for 5 minutes, condescends to you. A family member, armed with a WebMD diagnosis, yells at you. You hold the hand of a man dying of cancer, and 20 minutes later, you're cheerfully explaining discharge instructions for an appendectomy. You are the system's shock absorber. You absorb the fear, the anger, the pain. And when you get home, your feet throbbing, you can't feel anything at all. Level 5, the ICU nurse. You're 30. Your patient load is down to 2, but the stakes are infinitely higher. These are the sickest people in the hospital. Their bodies are not their own. They are run by machines. You manage 14 different IV drips, titrating vasopressors microgram by microgram to keep a blood pressure from collapsing. The constant, rhythmic hiss of the ventilator is the soundtrack to your life. You learn the intimate details of dying. You learn to code a patient, the frantic ballet of chest compressions and epinephrine, and then, when it fails, You learn to wash the body and place it in a shroud. You talk to the family, your voice calm and steady, explaining that there is nothing more to do. You absorb a lifetime of grief in 15 minutes. You are an expert in the mechanics of life support and an unwilling priest at the bedside of death. Level 6, the resident physician, Year 1. You're 33. You've gone back to school, accrued $250,000 in debt, and now you are at the bottom again. You are an intern. You work 28-hour shifts. You forget what sunlight feels like. Sleep is a luxury you can't afford. Your diet consists of stale coffee and whatever food the drug reps leave in the break room. You are terrified. You're responsible for human lives, but you're too tired to remember your own name. You carry a pocket-sized handbook with all the answers you're supposed to know. You present your patients to the attending physician, your voice trembling, praying you haven't missed something. One night at 3 a.m., you have to pronounce a patient dead. It's your first time. You follow the checklist: no pulse, no breath sounds, pupils fixed and dilated. You sign the certificate. Your signature is shaky. You are no longer just a caregiver. You are an official witness to the end of a life. Level 7, the senior resident. You're 36. The fear is gone, replaced by a hardened, sleep-deprived confidence. You are no longer the one asking questions. You are the one answering them. You teach the interns, your voice sharp with impatience you don't have time to conceal. You can run a code in your sleep. You can intubate a patient in a crowded hallway. You've seen 1,000 deaths, and they no longer shake you. What shakes you is the politics, the bureaucracy. The patient who needs a life-saving scan, but their insurance won't approve it for 48 hours. You spend an hour on the phone arguing with an insurance clerk who has never seen a patient. You lose. The patient gets worse. You realize you are fighting a battle not against disease, but against a system designed for efficiency, not for care. Level 8, the attending physician. You're 40. You've arrived. The long coat, the six-figure salary, the final say. But the victory feels hollow. Responsibility is a physical weight. Every chart you sign, every order you give could end in a cure or a lawsuit. You are a manager as much as a healer. You manage residents, you manage patient expectations, you manage risk. The idealism you started with is a distant memory. You see patients not as people, but as fascinating puzzles, or worse, as potential liabilities. You spend 7 minutes on a patient visit and 25 minutes documenting it. You find yourself becoming cynical, detached. A colleague burns out, another develops a drinking problem. You just work harder. You tell yourself it's for the patients, but you haven't had a real conversation with one in years. Level 9, the department chief. You're 48. This is the point of no return. You've traded your stethoscope for spreadsheets. Your days are spent in budget meetings, fighting for resources, dealing with physician complaints. You are no longer on the front lines. You manage the war from a command bunker 3 floors away from the ER. You have to decide whether to spend $2 million on a new surgical robot that will attract top talent or on hiring 10 more nurses to reduce the unsafe patient ratios on the med-surg floor. The robot will increase profitable elective surgeries by 18%. The nurses will only decrease burnout and improve patient satisfaction scores, which have a less direct impact on the bottom line. You approve the robot. You write a memo about the importance of staff resilience. You have started to speak the language of the system. You have become one of its architects. Level 10, the chief medical officer. You're 55. Patients are no longer individuals. They are data points. They are readmission rates, hospital-acquired infection statistics, and patient satisfaction scores. Your job is to manage risk for the entire institution. You sit on committees that create policies for events you pray will never happen. Mass casualty incidents, active shooters, pandemics. You review the 10 worst medical errors of the year. A sponge left in a patient, the wrong limb amputated. You analyze the root cause, not with horror, but with a cold managerial detachment. You implement a new checklist. You see doctors and nurses not as colleagues, but as assets to be optimized, or liabilities to be managed. The idealistic 18-year-old you were is a complete stranger. You wouldn't even recognize them. Level 11. The patient. You're 67. The chest pain came on suddenly during a board meeting. Now you're in a bed in your own hospital. The gown is itchy and doesn't close in the back. The nurse is 24 and looks exhausted. She calls you by your first name. You know the shortcuts she's taking. You know she has 5 other patients. You know the resident who examines you has been awake for 22 hours. You know the attending will only be here for 7 minutes. You see the system you built from the other side. You are no longer an architect. You are a product. You are a diagnosis, a bed number, a future statistic, and you are, for the first time in 50 years, truly, deeply afraid. Level 12. The end. The machines you bought, the protocols you signed, the staff you managed, they all work with perfect efficiency. There is a flurry of activity, and then silence. Your bed will be cleaned and remade in under 45 minutes. Your room will have a new occupant by the end of the day. The system you gave your life to does not mourn. It does not pause. It simply continues. Outside, in the main lobby, a new volunteer, age 18, nervously smooths down their oversized polo shirt. They are here to help people.